Hello there. Welcome to the Sleepy Japanese Traditions channel. I am so grateful you found your way here. Perhaps you've had a busy day in the waking world, or perhaps you're looking for a quiet, rhythmic place to rest your thoughts. Either way, tonight's journey is crafted just for you. Tonight, we are drifting into the soft and comforting world of mochi. While it is known today as a delightful treat found in many forms, its true heart lies in the sacred rituals of ancient Japan and the life-giving harvest of the rice fields. Beyond its simple, chewy texture lies a story of spiritual connection, a delicate balance of communal strength, ancestral wisdom, and the quiet celebration of life's endurance. We'll travel gently from the misty, emerald rice paddies where the glutinous grain grows, to the rhythmic sounds of the wooden mallet hitting the mortar. You'll hear of the sacred offerings made to the gods during the new year, the fascinating molecular chemistry that gives the dough its unique stretch, and the silent artistry that transforms a simple grain into a symbol of longevity and health. It is a story of Japan's spirit, told through the steady beat of the harvest and the seasonal passage of time. And just before we begin, if these calm explorations of Japanese culinary traditions help you unwind, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps our community grow, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is rest, settle in, and allow the quiet, pillowy world of mochi to carry you softly into sleep. Now, let's begin. Mochi is a traditional Japanese rice cake made from a specific type of glutinous grain known as mochigome. This unique variety of rice is distinguished by its high amylopectin content, which provides the characteristic stickiness and elasticity that defines the mochi experience. Unlike the standard short-grain rice served in bowls at dinner, mochigome must be meticulously steamed rather than boiled to preserve its structural integrity. Historically, this grain was a luxury item, reserved for special festivals and offerings to the spirits, symbolizing a connection between the earth and the divine. In modern times, the cultivation of high-quality glutinous rice remains a vital part of Japanese agriculture, ensuring that each bite of mochi carries the sweet, subtle essence of the fields. Understanding the humble grain is the first step in appreciating the profound cultural significance of this beloved food. The process of making mochi involves steaming the rice and then pounding it into a smooth and elastic dough. This transformation is a remarkable feat of physical chemistry, as the mechanical action of pounding breaks down the cellular structure of the rice grains. As the steamed rice is struck repeatedly, the long-chain starch molecules become entangled, creating a complex network that traps moisture and air. This process, known as gelatinization, results in a texture that is simultaneously soft, chewy, and incredibly resilient. Traditional artisans rely on their intuition to feel the perfect moment when the grain loses its individual identity and becomes a unified, glossy mass. The physical effort required to achieve this consistency reflects a deep commitment to quality, turning a simple agricultural product into a sophisticated culinary masterpiece that has sustained generations through both ritual and nutrition. While it is enjoyed year-round, mochi holds a sacred status as an essential food for celebrating the Japanese New Year. During this most important of holidays, mochi represents hope for a long, healthy life and the renewal of the family's spiritual strength. The act of eating mochi at the start of the year is believed to provide the physical and spiritual energy needed to face the challenges of the coming months. Because rice is the foundation of the Japanese diet, mochi serves as a concentrated form of that vital energy, making it a powerful symbol of prosperity and abundance. Families gather to share these rice cakes, reinforcing their social bonds and honoring the traditions of their ancestors. This seasonal connection ensures that mochi is not just a snack, but a profound cultural milestone that marks the rhythmic passage of time in the Japanese calendar. Historically, Mochi was considered a food for the gods and was used in religious ceremonies to ensure a good harvest. In ancient Shinto beliefs, spirits known as kami were thought to reside within the rice grains, and pounding the rice was a way to concentrate that divine power. Mochi was often placed on altars as an offering, serving as a bridge between the human world and the spiritual realm. The round shape of traditional mochi was intended to mirror the shape of the soul or the mirror of the sun goddess, Amaterasu. By consuming these blessed rice cakes, people believed they could internalize the strength of the gods and protect themselves from misfortune. This deep spiritual history still resonates today, as mochi continues to be a central element in shrine rituals and local festivals, preserving a sense of sacredness in a modern world. The unique elasticity of mochi comes from the high amylopectin content found in glutinous rice compared to standard table rice. While typical rice contains a mix of amylose and amylopectin, mochigome consists almost entirely of amylopectin, which is a highly branched glucose polymer. When the rice is steamed and pounded, these branched structures create a dense, sticky matrix that allows the dough to stretch without breaking. Scientific studies into the rheology of mochi have shown that this molecular arrangement provides a unique mouthfeel that is highly prized in Japanese gastronomy. This sticky quality is also what allows mochi to be molded into various shapes or wrapped around sweet fillings. Understanding the science of starch allows us to appreciate how a simple genetic variation in a rice plant can lead to the creation of one of the world's most versatile and culturally significant food textures. Traditional mochi pounding, known as mochitsuki, is a communal event that symbolizes strength, unity, and the spirit of cooperation. In villages and neighborhoods across Japan, people gather around a large wooden or stone mortar to perform this labor-intensive task together. The process requires a high degree of trust and synchronization, as one person strikes with a heavy mallet while another reaches in to turn the hot rice. This teamwork is a physical manifestation of the Japanese concept of wa, or social harmony, where individual effort is coordinated for the benefit of the group. Beyond the production of food, mochitsuki serves as a vital social glue, bringing different generations together to share stories and laughter. Even in today's fast-paced society, these public pounding events remain a popular way to foster community spirit and keep the vibrant traditions of the past alive for the future. Two people usually work together during mochitsuki, with one person swinging a heavy wooden mallet while the other turns the rice. This dangerous yet beautiful dance requires the person turning the rice to wet their hands and fold the dough in between the heavy strikes of the mallet. The timing must be perfect. A split-second delay could result in injury, making the collaboration a true test of partnership and mutual focus. The person with the mallet, the tsukite, provides the power, while the koeshite ensures the rice is pounded evenly and maintains the correct moisture level. As they work, they often shout rhythmic chants to maintain their pace and keep their spirits high. This synchronized movement is a sight to behold, showcasing a level of physical skill and human connection that elevates the simple act of food preparation into a captivating performance of cultural heritage. The rhythmic sound of the mallet hitting the mortar is a nostalgic melody that signals the arrival of the winter season. Known as the thump-hiss sound, it echoes through neighborhood streets and temple grounds as the end of the year approaches. For many Japanese people, this sound evokes warm memories of childhood, family gatherings, and the excitement of the upcoming holiday festivities. The heavy, muffled impact of the wood against the rice creates a deep vibration that can be felt in the chest, grounding the participants in the physical reality of the harvest. It is a sound that transcends language, communicating a sense of preparation, hard work, and impending celebration. As the air turns cold and the days grow shorter, The heartbeat of the mochitsuki mallet provides a comforting reminder of the enduring cycles of nature and the warmth of human community. Kagami mochi consists of 2 stacked rice cakes topped with a bitter orange, representing the transition of years and family lineage. The name Kagami means mirror, referring to the round, flat shape of ancient bronze mirrors that were considered sacred objects in Japanese mythology. The 2 layers of mochi are said to represent the passing year and the coming year, or the yin and yang of existence. The small bitter orange on top, called a dai-dai, is a play on words, as dai-dai also means generation to generation in Japanese. This arrangement is placed in the most honorable part of the home to welcome the New Year deity and invite good fortune into the household. It stands as a silent guardian of the home's history, embodying a wish that the family's prosperity will continue to grow and stack up, much like the rice cakes themselves. During the Heian period, mochi was often used by aristocrats in various court rituals to pray for longevity and health. Members of the imperial court would participate in ceremonies where they ate hard mochi to strengthen their teeth, which was seen as a prerequisite for a long and healthy life. This tradition, known as hagatame, reflected the belief that the physical toughness of the rice cake could be transferred to the person consuming it. In the elegant world of the Heian capital, mochi was also used as a sophisticated gift, often dyed in subtle colors or shaped to resemble natural elements like flower petals. These rituals transformed a humble agricultural staple into a symbol of refined culture and spiritual aspiration. Today, we can still see the influence of these ancient courtly traditions in the graceful shapes and seasonal themes that define high-end Japanese confectionery and modern New Year celebrations. The stretching quality of mochi is often compared to a long life, making it a powerful symbol of endurance and persistence. In Japanese culture, the physical act of pulling and extending the dough without it breaking represents the desire for a continuous and healthy existence. This metaphorical connection is why mochi is an indispensable part of celebrations involving longevity, such as the special birthdays of the elderly. During these events, the elasticity of the rice cake serves as a visual and tactile prayer for a life that is both flexible and resilient. Scientifically, this stretch is the result of the strong molecular bonds formed during the pounding process, which create a structural integrity that can withstand significant tension. By consuming mochi, individuals symbolically absorb this quality of endurance into their own bodies and spirits. Ozonai is a traditional New Year soup that contains mochi, with recipes varying significantly between the eastern and western regions. This dish serves as the centerpiece of the first meal of the year, acting as a culinary map of Japan's diverse local identities. While the base ingredients of mochi and broth are constant, the specific flavors and additional components reflect the history and geography of each prefecture. For many Japanese families, the specific recipe for ozonai is a precious heirloom passed down through generations, representing their ancestral roots. The presence of mochi in the soup provides a substantial and warming start to the cold January mornings. Exploring the different versions of ozonai reveals how a single ingredient like mochi can be adapted into countless variations, each telling a unique story of regional pride and domestic tradition. In Tokyo, ozonai typically features square-shaped mochi in a clear dashi broth, reflecting the structured culture of the former samurai capital. The use of square mochi, known as kiri mochi, became popular in the densely populated Edo period because it was more efficient to produce and store in large quantities. By flattening the dough and cutting it into rectangles, vendors could serve the growing urban population more quickly than by hand-rolling individual rounds. The clear broth, often seasoned with soy sauce and salt, highlights the pure taste of the toasted rice. This style of soup is often garnished with local greens and chicken, creating a balanced and elegant dish that mirrors the refined yet practical aesthetics of Eastern Japan. The sharp edges of the mochi symbolize the discipline and order of the historical warrior class. Kyoto-style ozunai usually uses round mochi in a rich white miso soup, emphasizing the elegance and softness of ancient traditions. As the former imperial capital for over 1,000 years, Kyoto developed a culinary style that prioritizes harmony, known as wa, and visual beauty. The round shape of the mochi, called marumaki, is intentionally chosen to represent a smooth and peaceful life without any sharp edges or conflict. The white miso base provides a creamy, slightly sweet flavor profile that is considered highly sophisticated and luxurious. Often accompanied by round slices of carrot and taro, the entire dish is a composition of soft shapes and gentle colors. This version of the soup reflects the aristocratic heritage of the Kansai region, where the art of the meal is as important as the nutrition it provides. The distinction between round and square mochi traces back to regional preferences for efficiency versus the symbolic meaning of harmony. In Western Japan, the traditional hand-rolling of round mochi persists as a reminder of the spiritual significance of the circle, representing the sun and the human soul. Conversely, the square mochi of Eastern Japan emerged as a pragmatic solution to the logistical challenges of feeding a rapidly growing metropolitan population. This geographical divide is often referred to as the mochi frontier, roughly following the boundaries of the Sekigahara mountain pass. Even today, the shape of the mochi used in a household can reveal the family's historical origins or regional loyalties. This simple difference in geometry serves as a fascinating window into the historical development of Japanese society and its evolving priorities over several centuries. Before modern refrigeration, drying or freezing mochi was a vital method for preserving precious calories during the harsh winter months. Because fresh mochi contains a significant amount of moisture, it is prone to mold if left in a humid environment. To solve this, ancient Japanese communities developed techniques to remove the water, creating a shelf-stable product known as hoshimochi. By exposing the rice cakes to the freezing mountain air and then thawing them repeatedly, a porous and lightweight texture was achieved. This preserved mochi could be easily transported and rehydrated in soups or grilled over a fire when other food sources were scarce. These traditional preservation methods demonstrate the incredible ingenuity of early agricultural societies in maximizing their resources. Today, these ancient techniques are still practiced in certain rural areas to produce specialty artisanal snacks. Daifuku is a popular Japanese confection where a soft piece of mochi is wrapped around a sweet filling of red bean. The name literally translates to great luck, and these treats were originally much larger and filled with salty beans to provide a substantial meal for workers. Over time, the recipe evolved into a smaller, sweeter version that became a staple of the Japanese tea ceremony and everyday snacking. The outer layer of mochi is typically dusted with a fine layer of potato starch to prevent it from sticking to the fingers. The contrast between the chewy, neutral rice casing and the rich, dark sweetness of the azuki bean paste inside creates a satisfying sensory experience. Daifuku remains one of the most recognizable forms of mochi, enjoyed by people of all ages as a symbol of everyday happiness. Ichigo Daifuku, which includes a whole fresh strawberry inside, was an innovative creation that revolutionized traditional Japanese sweets in the 80s. This modern classic combined the soft, chewy texture of mochi with the juicy tartness of a ripe berry and the smooth sweetness of bean paste. When it was first introduced, the idea of putting fresh fruit inside a traditional rice cake was considered a bold departure from convention. However, the combination was an instant success, sparking a nationwide trend and paving the way for many other fruit-filled mochi variations. The vibrant red of the strawberry hidden inside the white dough creates a beautiful visual surprise when the sweet is bitten into or sliced. This invention proved that Japanese traditions are not static, but are capable of evolving and incorporating new flavors to delight modern palates. The combination of sweet bean paste and acidic fruit in mochi creates a perfect balance of flavors known as the golden ratio. In Japanese gastronomy, the concept of balance is essential, and the pairing of different taste profiles is carefully studied by confectioners. The natural acidity of a fruit like a strawberry or a grape cuts through the density of the sweet azuki bean paste, preventing the dessert from feeling overly heavy. At the same time, the neutral flavor of the mochi acts as a canvas that allows these contrasting elements to shine. This harmony of tastes is a key reason why fruit-filled mochi has become a beloved part of the modern Japanese dessert repertoire. It represents a sophisticated understanding of how diverse ingredients can work together to create a complex and memorable flavor experience in a single bite. Mochi rice is soaked in water overnight to ensure that each grain absorbs enough moisture for an even and thorough steaming. This preparation step is crucial because the high amylopectin content of the rice requires deep hydration to fully gelatinize during the cooking process. If the rice is not soaked long enough, the center of the grain will remain hard, resulting in a gritty and unpleasant texture in the finished mochi. Traditional makers pay close attention to the ambient temperature and humidity, adjusting the soaking time to achieve the perfect balance. Once fully hydrated, the grains become translucent and plump, ready to be transformed by the heat of the steamer. This patient attention to detail in the earliest stages of production is what separates ordinary rice cakes from the smooth, luxurious mochi crafted by dedicated traditional artisans. Kibe mochi is a variation made by mixing millet with rice, offering a unique texture and a more earthy, rustic flavor. In ancient Japan, millet was a common staple crop alongside rice, and combining the two created a nutritionally dense food that was accessible to the general population. The addition of millet gives the mochi a slightly golden hue and a subtle, nutty sweetness that distinguishes it from the pure white cakes made solely from glutinous rice. This version of mochi is particularly famous in the Okayama region, where it is linked to the legendary hero Momotaro, who shared these dumplings with his animal companions. Today, Kibe mochi is celebrated as a nostalgic reminder of Japan's agricultural roots, providing a wholesome and fiber-rich alternative that honors the diverse grains of the traditional countryside. In the past, mochi was a portable high-energy food used by samurai and travelers to sustain them during long, arduous journeys. Because mochi is composed of densely packed carbohydrates, it provides a slow and steady release of glucose into the bloodstream, making it the perfect fuel for physical endurance. Samurai often carried dried mochi in their kits, as it was lightweight, resistant to spoilage when dried, and could be quickly prepared by softening it in hot water or over a campfire. The compact nature of the rice cake allowed warriors to carry several days' worth of calories in a small pouch, ensuring they remained strong during military campaigns. This historical use of mochi as a functional power food highlights its practical importance beyond just being a festive treat or a religious offering. Modern food science explains that the gelatinization of starch in mochi makes it a highly digestible source of sustained physical energy. When the glutinous rice is steamed and pounded, the crystalline structure of the amylopectin molecules breaks down, allowing them to bind with water and form a gel-like consistency. This process makes the starch much easier for human enzymes to break down into simple sugars, providing a rapid yet lasting source of metabolic fuel. Athletes in Japan often consume mochi before intense competitions for this very reason, as it sits lightly in the stomach while providing a concentrated burst of power. The chemical transformation that occurs during the traditional pounding process essentially pre-digests the rice, making its nutrients readily available to the body in a way that regular boiled rice simply cannot match. Yakimochi refers to mochi that has been grilled until the skin is crispy while the inside remains soft and wonderfully gooey. This method of preparation is a favorite during the cold winter months, as the heat of the charcoal grill or oven causes the rice cake to puff up and develop a beautiful charred aroma. The contrast between the crunchy, toasted exterior and the meltingly tender interior creates a sensory experience that is deeply comforting to many people in Japan. Grilling also enhances the natural sweetness of the rice, as the sugars on the surface undergo a slight caramelization. Whether enjoyed at a street stall or prepared at home, yakimochi is a simple culinary pleasure that celebrates the transformative power of fire on the humble, elastic dough of the traditional rice cake. Toasted mochi served with soy sauce and wrapped in a sheet of dried seaweed is a simple yet beloved savory snack. This classic combination is known as isobayaki, and it perfectly balances the salty umami of the soy sauce with the oceanic crispness of the nori seaweed. The heat from the freshly grilled mochi softens the seaweed slightly, while the soy sauce seeps into the cracks of the toasted rice skin to create a rich flavor profile. This snack is often enjoyed as a quick afternoon pick-me-up or a light meal during the New Year holidays when families have plenty of fresh mochi on hand. Its enduring popularity lies in its perfect harmony of textures and the way it elevates basic pantry staples into a satisfying and culturally iconic Japanese comfort food. Kinako mochi is prepared by coating soft rice cakes in a mixture of roasted soybean flour and a touch of sugar. This preparation is one of the most traditional ways to enjoy mochi as a sweet treat, often served during seasonal festivals or as a special afternoon snack for children. The fine, powdery texture of the kinako provides a beautiful contrast to the smooth and sticky surface of the mochi, preventing the cakes from clinging together. Many people find the combination of the chewy rice and the meltingly soft flour to be incredibly soothing and nostalgic. Because soybeans are a staple of the Japanese diet, the use of kinako also adds a boost of protein and minerals, making this dessert a relatively healthy option compared to many modern, processed sweets found in stores. The nutty aroma of kinako provides a beautiful contrast to the subtle sweetness of the steamed rice used in the mochi. Kinako is made by slowly roasting whole soybeans until they are deeply fragrant and then grinding them into a fine, golden brown powder. This roasting process triggers the Maillard reaction, which develops complex, toasted flavor notes reminiscent of roasted nuts or warm caramel. When this powder is dusted over a freshly pounded warm piece of mochi, the heat amplifies the aroma, filling the room with a comforting and earthy scent. This olfactory experience is a key part of the enjoyment of the dish, grounding the sweetness of the rice in the wholesome, savory depth of the bean. It is a masterful example of how Japanese cuisine uses simple, natural ingredients to create complex sensory layers. Zenzai and shiruko are warm dessert soups made of sweet azuki beans served with pieces of toasted or boiled mochi. These dishes are quintessentially associated with the winter season, offering a profound sense of warmth and coziness against the outdoor chill. Zenzai typically features whole, simmered beans, providing a chunky and rustic texture, while shiruko uses a smooth, strained bean paste for a more refined and elegant consistency. The addition of mochi provides a chewy element that absorbs the sweet, dark syrup of the beans, making each spoonful a rich and satisfying delight. Often served with a small side of salty pickles or green tea to cleanse the palate, these bean soups represent the heart of traditional Japanese confectionery, where sweetness is balanced with depth and a soft, pillowy texture. Dango are small round dumplings often mistaken for mochi. but they are made from rice flour rather than whole steamed grains. While mochi is created by pounding cooked rice until the individual grains disappear, dango is made by mixing rice flour with water to create a dough that is then shaped and boiled or steamed. This difference in production results in a texture that is slightly firmer and less elastic than true mochi, making it easier to thread onto bamboo skewers. Dango is a popular street food, often grilled and brushed with a sweet soy glaze or topped with bean paste. Understanding the distinction between these two rice-based treats allows one to appreciate the nuanced varieties of Japanese dumplings and the different ways in which rice can be transformed into a wide array of delightful snacks. The flexibility of mochi allows it to take on many forms, from thin sheets used in hot pots to thick decorative blocks. Because the dough is incredibly malleable when warm, it can be rolled, cut, or molded into almost any imaginable shape to suit the occasion. In modern cooking, very thin slices of mochi are often added to shabu-shabu or nabe dishes, where they soften almost instantly to provide a hidden, chewy surprise among the vegetables and meat. In contrast, large, heavy blocks are produced for traditional ceremonies and New Year decorations, showcasing the material's strength and density. This remarkable versatility makes mochi a unique culinary chameleon, capable of being a delicate garnish, a hearty main ingredient, or a significant cultural symbol depending entirely on how it is handled and shaped. Kuzu mochi is a spring specialty flavored with Japanese mugwort, giving it a vibrant green color and a refreshing herbal scent. Also known as yomogi mochi, this treat captures the essence of the awakening earth after a long winter. The young leaves of the mugwort plant are harvested, boiled, and then pounded into the glutinous rice dough, imparting a deep, earthy flavor and a natural forest green hue. Historically, the addition of this medicinal herb was more than just a culinary choice. It was a way to incorporate the healing properties of nature into the daily diet. Today, kuzu mochi remains a beloved seasonal marker, often filled with sweet red bean paste to balance the slightly bitter, botanical notes of the herb, offering a taste of the Japanese countryside in springtime. The inclusion of mugwort in mochi was historically believed to ward off evil spirits and protect the health of young children. In ancient Japanese folklore, the strong, distinct aroma of the yomogi plant was thought to possess purifying powers capable of repelling misfortune and illness. This belief led to the tradition of consuming herb-infused rice cakes during seasonal transitions, particularly during the lunar festivals that mark the start of May. Parents would serve these green treats to their children as a symbolic prayer for physical strength and resilience against the changing weather. Even as modern science identifies the actual antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties of mugwort, the cultural memory of its protective role persists. Eating kuzu mochi continues to be a ritual of well-being, connecting modern families to ancient spiritual practices centered on health. Hishimochi is a diamond-shaped, three-layered rice cake displayed during the Doll Festival to represent the arrival of the spring season. Observed on March 3rd, this festival, known as Hinamatsuri, celebrates the health and happiness of young girls. The specific rhomboid shape of the mochi is said to represent the heart or a water chestnut, symbolizing fertility and longevity. These elegant cakes are not merely food but are treated as sacred offerings, placed carefully on the tiered stands alongside traditional ornamental dolls. The geometry of the hishimochi is precise, requiring careful layering of the different colored doughs while they are still warm and pliable. This festive decoration embodies the Japanese aesthetic of kawaii or cuteness, combined with a deep respect for the ritualized passage of the seasons and the growth of the next generation. The pink, white, and green layers of hishimochi symbolize peach blossoms, melting snow, and fresh new grass growing underneath them. This color palette is a poetic visual representation of the Japanese landscape as it transitions from the grip of winter into the vitality of spring. The bottom green layer represents the earth and the life force of young plants. The middle white layer signifies the purity of the receding snow, and the top pink layer captures the beauty of the blooming peach trees. Together, they tell a story of natural progression and hope. Beyond their symbolism, the layers are often flavored naturally with jasmine, water caltrop, and mugwort, creating a subtle blend of tastes. Admiring the layers of hishimochi allows one to contemplate the delicate and fleeting beauty of the natural world through a culinary lens. Sakura mochi is wrapped in a pickled cherry leaf, creating a sophisticated blend of sweet rice and salty floral notes. This iconic springtime confection is a sensory tribute to Japan's most famous flower, the cherry blossom. The mochi itself is usually dyed a pale, delicate pink to mimic the color of the petals, while the salt-preserved leaf provides a sharp, savory contrast to the sweet bean filling inside. Interestingly, the leaf is not just for decoration or flavoring. It also serves the practical purpose of keeping the rice cake moist and preventing it from sticking to the hands. Whether one chooses to eat the leaf or set it aside is a matter of personal preference, but its presence is essential for the authentic aroma that defines the experience of enjoying Sakura mochi under the falling blossoms. There are two main styles of Sakura mochi, originating from the Kanto and Kansai regions, each using different types of rice. This regional variation provides a fascinating example of how Japanese food culture diverged based on local preferences and available ingredients. In the eastern Kanto region, centered around Tokyo, the treat is made with a smooth, crepe-like batter made from fine flour. In contrast, the western Kansai version, particularly popular in Kyoto and Osaka, utilizes a coarser texture that retains the shape of the individual grains. These differences reflect the distinct historical atmospheres of the two regions, one favoring the innovative and practical, the other cherishing the rustic and traditional. Sampling both styles allows a deeper appreciation for the nuanced regional identities that exist within the single, unified concept of a seasonal Japanese sweet. Kanto-style Sakura mochi uses a thin, pancake-like dough, while the Kansai version uses coarse, grainy domyoji rice for texture. The Kanto style, often called chamaji, originated at a temple in Tokyo during the Edo period and is characterized by its elegant, folded appearance. The dough is made by mixing flour with water and lightly cooking it on a griddle before wrapping it around a cylinder of sweet bean paste. On the other hand, the Kansai style uses domyoji ko, which is rice that has been steamed, dried, and then coarsely ground. This results in a bumpy, translucent exterior that offers a delightful subu-subu or grainy mouthfeel. While both versions are wrapped in the same salty cherry leaf, their structural differences offer two entirely different ways to experience the harmony of spring flavors on the tongue. Scientific studies have shown that the aroma of the pickled cherry leaf has a calming effect on the human nervous system. The distinct fragrance of the sakura leaf comes from a compound called coumarin, which is released when the leaves are wilted or pickled in salt. Coumarin is known in aromatherapy for its soothing, vanilla-like scent that can help reduce stress and promote a sense of relaxation. When you hold a piece of Sakura mochi, the warmth of your breath or the room triggers the release of these aromatic molecules, creating a therapeutic experience even before the first bite. This scientific reality aligns perfectly with the Japanese tradition of hanami, or flower viewing, which encourages people to slow down and find peace in the beauty and scent of the blossoms during a busy year. Warabi mochi is a jelly-like confection made from bracken starch, prized for its cooling sensation during the humid Japanese summer months. Unlike traditional mochi made from rice, warabi mochi has a translucent, shimmering appearance and a texture that is more slippery and melt in the mouth. It is traditionally served chilled and dusted with toasted soybean flour or drizzled with a rich, dark brown sugar syrup known as kuromitsu. In the past, vendors would wander through the streets with bells, announcing the arrival of this refreshing treat as the temperatures began to rise. The high water content and the cooling properties of the starch make it the perfect antidote to the intense heat of July and August. It remains a symbol of summer grace, offering a moment of chilled, sweet relief in the middle of a sun-drenched day. Authentic warabi starch is extremely rare and expensive, leading many modern shops to use sweet potato or tapioca starch instead. True warabi is extracted from the roots of the wild bracken fern, a labor-intensive process that yields only a tiny amount of starch from a large volume of plant material. Because of this scarcity, pure warabi mochi is considered a high-end luxury, often reserved for specialty tea houses or elite confectioners. Most of the warabi mochi enjoyed by the general public today is made from a blend of more common starches that mimic the texture at a fraction of the cost. While the substitute versions are delicious and refreshing, the authentic version has a deeper, more complex flavor and a legendary disappearing texture. This distinction highlights the value placed on rare, natural ingredients in the world of traditional Japanese culinary arts. Isobe maki is a classic preparation where mochi is dipped in soy sauce and wrapped in nori, offering a satisfying umami experience. This simple dish is a staple of Japanese home cooking, transforming a plain piece of rice cake into a savory delight with just a few pantry staples. The process usually begins by grilling the mochi until it puffs up and develops golden brown spots, then quickly dipping it into a small bowl of high-quality soy sauce. The porous surface of the toasted rice absorbs the dark, salty liquid almost instantly. Finally, a crisp sheet of dried seaweed is wrapped around the sticky core, providing a clean handle for the fingers and a complementary ocean-like fragrance. It is the ultimate expression of how three humble ingredients, rice, soy, and sea, can create a perfectly balanced and deeply comforting snack. The crunch of the seaweed combined with the stretch of the mochi provides a sensory contrast that is deeply satisfying to eat. In the world of Japanese gastronomy, shokukan, or mouthfeel, is often considered just as important as the actual flavor of a dish. When you bite into a piece of isobe maki, your teeth first encounter the brittle, paper-thin snap of the roasted nori. This is immediately followed by the soft, yielding resistance of the hot mochi, which pulls and stretches with a delightful elasticity. This interplay between the crisp exterior and the gooey interior creates a dynamic eating experience that keeps the palate engaged. This sensory harmony is one of the reasons why even the simplest mochi preparations have remained popular for centuries, proving that the architecture of a bite can be a form of art in itself. Mochi has found its way into modern Western cuisine, most notably through the invention of mochi ice cream in California. This cross-cultural dessert was created in the early 1990s by a Japanese-American confectionery company, aiming to introduce the chewy texture of traditional rice cakes to a global audience. By encasing small spheres of premium ice cream in a thin, colorful layer of sweetened mochi dough, they created a portable, finger-food version of a sundae. This innovation successfully bridged the gap between East and West, appealing to those who love the creamy coldness of ice cream but were looking for a new textural adventure. Today, mochi ice cream can be found in supermarkets around the world, serving as a global ambassador for the versatility of Japanese rice-based ingredients. This fusion dessert features a small ball of ice cream encased in a thin layer of flavored and sweetened mochi dough. To ensure the mochi remains soft even when frozen, the dough is typically made with a higher sugar content and a specific ratio of water, which prevents the formation of large ice crystals that would make the rice cake brittle. The flavors of the mochi skin often mirror the ice cream inside. Think pale green matcha, vibrant pink strawberry, or deep purple taro. Because the mochi is dusted with a light coating of cornstarch or potato starch, it is easy to pick up with the hands without getting sticky. This small, elegant package represents a perfect marriage of temperature and texture, providing a cooling sensation followed by a slow, satisfying chew that prolongs the enjoyment of the sweet filling. The mochi layer prevents the ice cream from melting too quickly and adds a unique chewy texture to the frozen treat. From a functional perspective, the dense network of starch molecules in the mochi acts as a natural insulator, slowing down the transfer of heat from your fingers and the air to the cold ice cream core. This allows the consumer to savor the dessert slowly without the mess usually associated with a melting cone. Additionally, the chewiness of the mochi requires more time to break down in the mouth compared to regular ice cream, which encourages a more mindful eating experience. This structural benefit, combined with the exotic appeal of the rice cake, has turned mochi ice cream into a beloved modern classic that continues to inspire new flavor combinations in the global dessert market. In recent years, mochi donuts have become a global trend, utilizing rice flour to create a distinctive light and bouncy texture. Often shaped like a ring of small interconnected spheres, these donuts are sometimes called pondering style. Unlike traditional American donuts made from wheat flour, which tend to be fluffy or cake-like, mochi donuts possess a mochi quality, a term the Japanese use to describe something that is springy, elastic, and fun to chew. This unique texture is achieved by mixing glutinous rice flour or tapioca starch into the batter, which creates a resilient crumb that doesn't collapse easily. Glazed with everything from black sesame to matcha or passion fruit, these donuts have captured the imagination of food enthusiasts worldwide, proving that the essence of mochi can revitalize even the most familiar of baked goods. Mochi is technically gluten-free, making it a versatile ingredient for people with specific dietary needs or those seeking wheat alternatives. While the name glutinous rice might sound like it contains gluten, the term actually refers to the rice's glue-like stickiness, which comes from amylopectin starch rather than the proteins found in wheat, barley, or rye. This makes traditional mochi a safe and delicious option for those with celiac disease or gluten sensitivities. In the modern culinary landscape, mochi and its flour derivatives are increasingly being used as thickening agents, binders, and crusts in gluten-free recipes. This natural property allows mochi to maintain its status as a healthy, plant-based staple while fitting perfectly into the evolving health consciousness of the 21st century. The starch in mochi undergoes a process called retrogradation, causing it to harden as it cools and returns to its crystalline state. When mochi is freshly pounded and warm, the starch molecules are hydrated and flexible, giving it that famous stretch. However, as it sits at room temperature, the amylopectin chains begin to realign and expel moisture, turning the soft dough into a firm, stone-like block. This transformation is a natural part of the rice's life cycle and was historically useful for storage, as hard mochi is less likely to be squashed or damaged during transport. To the uninitiated, a piece of cold, hard mochi might look inedible, but for the Japanese, it is simply a temporary state of being, a dormant form of energy waiting to be awakened by the application of heat once again. Reheating hardened mochi can restore its softness, as the heat breaks the starch bonds and allows the molecules to move freely. Whether you choose to boil, grill, or microwave it, the introduction of thermal energy causes the crystalline starch structure to vibrate and expand, absorbing any surrounding moisture or internal humidity. Within minutes, a rigid block of mochi will begin to soften, swell, and eventually return to its gooey, elastic state. This resurrection of texture is one of the most magical aspects of working with rice cakes. In Japanese households, this process is a daily ritual during the winter months, as pieces of dried mochi are tossed into morning soups or onto the evening grill, providing a warm and flexible source of nourishment that feels as fresh as the day it was pounded. Aborage or deep-fried tofu skins stuffed with mochi are a popular addition to udon noodles, known as the power topping. This dish, called chikara udon, meaning power udon, is a favorite for those seeking a hearty and filling meal. The mochi is tucked inside a pocket of seasoned, fried tofu, which acts as a protective sleeve while it simmers in the hot noodle broth. As you eat, the tofu skin releases a sweet and savory juice, while the mochi inside becomes incredibly soft and stretchy, absorbing the essence of the dashi. This combination provides a double layer of texture, the slightly chewy, fibrous tofu and the meltingly smooth rice cake. It is a dish designed to provide strength and warmth, embodying the practical and nutritious role that mochi has played in the Japanese diet for over 1,000 years. Kakimochi are thin slices of dried mochi that are fried or grilled until they puff up into light and airy crackers. This traditional snack is a perfect example of how the Japanese climate was used to preserve and transform food. During the coldest months, blocks of mochi were sliced into thin rectangles and hung by straws or spread on mats to dry in the freezing wind. This cold drying process removes the moisture slowly, preventing the rice from cracking too deeply. Once completely dehydrated, these hard slices can be stored for months. When heat is finally applied, the tiny amount of residual moisture inside expands rapidly, causing the dense starch to explode outward into a delicate, crunchy texture that is seasoned with salt or soy sauce. This method of recycling leftover New Year mochi demonstrates the traditional Japanese value of motenai, or avoiding any unnecessary waste. In Japanese culture, rice is considered a sacred gift from the earth, and to throw away even a single grain is seen as a sign of disrespect. When the large decorative kagami mochi are broken down after the New Year celebrations, the pieces often become hard and difficult to eat in their original state. Rather than discarding them, families traditionally break them into smaller bits, a process called kagami baraki, and dry them to make kakimochi or fried snacks. This practice ensures that every morsel of the ceremonial rice is honored and enjoyed, turning what might be seen as leftovers into a prized seasonal delicacy. The chemical reaction during frying creates hundreds of tiny air pockets, giving these rice crackers their signature brittle and crispy snap. When a piece of dried mochi hits hot oil, the starch molecules undergo a rapid physical change. The sudden intense heat vaporizes the internal water molecules, which struggle to escape the dense amylopectin matrix. This internal pressure stretches the softened starch until it sets into a rigid, cellular structure. The result is a snack that is incredibly light on the tongue but provides a loud, satisfying crunch. This transformation from a heavy, stone-like block into a cloud-like cracker is a marvel of traditional food science, providing a sensory contrast that has made rice crackers a staple of Japanese tea time for centuries. Agamochi is a dish of deep-fried mochi cubes often served in a savory dashi broth with grated daikon radish and ginger. Unlike the thin and crunchy kakamochi, agamochi uses fresh or slightly dried cubes of mochi that are fried until the outside is golden and bubbly while the inside remains molten and stretchy. This dish, often called agadashi mochi, is a popular appetizer in izakayas and traditional restaurants. The fried exterior acts like a sponge, soaking up the umami-rich broth, while the grated daikon helps to cut through the richness of the oil, aiding in digestion. It is a masterclass in texture. The oily crispness of the skin, the gooey heart of the rice, and the watery refreshment of the radish garnish all working in perfect harmony. The oil from frying enhances the natural sweetness of the rice, making mochi a decadent and highly addictive comfort food. While steamed or grilled mochi has a clean, subtle flavor, the addition of fats through frying triggers a different set of flavor receptors. The high heat of the oil slightly browns the surface of the rice, creating new aromatic compounds that complement the natural floral notes of the mochigome. This makes mochi feel much more substantial and indulgent than other preparations. For many, it is the ultimate guilty pleasure of the mochi world, a warm, savory, and incredibly chewy treat that provides a deep sense of satisfaction and physical warmth on a rainy or cold evening. Traditional artisans believe that the quality of the water used to soak the rice is just as important as the rice itself. Since mochi consists only of rice and water, any impurities in the water supply will be magnified in the final product. In the world of high-end mochi production, water is not merely an ingredient, it is a vital catalyst that determines the clarity of flavor and the purity of the white color. Artisans often seek out water with a specific mineral balance, typically soft water, which allows the moisture to penetrate the rice grains more deeply and evenly during the overnight soak. This obsession with water quality reflects the broader Japanese culinary philosophy that the best flavors come from the most pristine natural elements, handled with the utmost care and respect. Pure mountain spring water is often preferred for high-end mochi production to ensure a clean flavor and a bright white color. Many of the most famous mochi shops in Japan are located near natural springs or at the foot of mountains known for their exceptional water quality. This soft, mineral-poor water prevents the rice from taking on a yellowish tint and ensures that the finished cake has a brilliant, pearlescent sheen. When you taste mochi made with such pure water, the flavor is exceptionally clean, allowing the natural sweetness of the glutinous rice to shine through without any metallic or chlorine aftertaste. This dedication to purity is what elevates a simple rice cake into an artisanal product that is as much a tribute to the landscape as it is to the chef's skill. Many Japanese families still own a heavy stone or wooden mortar called an usu, which is passed down through several generations. The usu is a large bowl-shaped vessel carved from a single trunk of a tree or a solid block of granite. Because of its immense weight and durability, a well-cared-for mortar can last for over 100 years, becoming a silent witness to a family's history and every New Year they have celebrated together. Even in modern suburban homes where space is limited, the usu is often brought out of storage once a year, serving as a physical anchor for tradition. Owning an usu is more than just having a kitchen tool. It is a commitment to maintaining the physical rituals of the past and ensuring that the soul of the mochi is preserved through manual labor. The mallet used for pounding mochi is called a kine, and it must be soaked in water to prevent the rice from sticking to its surface. These mallets are typically made from dense hardwoods like oak or zelkova, featuring a long handle and a heavy, cylindrical head. Before the mochitsuki ceremony begins, the kine is placed in a bucket of water for several hours so the wood can absorb moisture. This prevents the incredibly sticky glutinous rice from clinging to the mallet during the pounding, which would ruin the rhythm and pull the dough out of the mortar. The weight of the kine provides the necessary force to crush the rice grains into a smooth paste, and the sound of the wet wood striking the hot rice is one of the most iconic auditory symbols of the Japanese winter. Modern technology has introduced automatic mochi making machines that can steam and knead the rice with the simple push of a button. These appliances, which look similar to bread makers, have made fresh mochi accessible to everyone, regardless of their physical strength or the space they have available. The machine handles the entire process. It steams the soaked rice using a heating element and then uses a rotating blade or paddle to knead the rice into a smooth dough. For busy families, these machines are a blessing, allowing them to enjoy the taste of fresh mochi any day of the year without the coordination required for traditional pounding. While they represent a departure from the communal ritual, they have played a crucial role in keeping mochi a part of the modern Japanese daily diet. While convenient, these machines lack the aeration and soul that comes from the vigorous, manual pounding of a traditional mochitsuki ceremony. Purists argue that the mechanical kneading of an automatic maker produces a denser, more uniform texture, whereas the air trap during the rhythmic strikes of a wooden mallet creates a lighter, more living dough. In a traditional ceremony, the steam rising from the mortar and the shared breath of the participants are said to infuse the rice with a spiritual energy that a machine simply cannot replicate. This soul of the mochi is not just a poetic concept, it refers to the slight irregularities and the superior elasticity achieved when the human hand and the heavy mallet work in perfect, organic unison. In some parts of Japan, mochi is flavored with walnuts, sesame seeds, or even fermented soybeans to create regional specialty dishes. These variations reflect the local agriculture and the unique palate of each prefecture. For example, in the mountainous regions of Nagano, walnuts are often ground into a rich, creamy paste and folded into the rice or used as a decadent topping. This addition not only changes the flavor profile from sweet to savory and nutty, but it also adds a layer of healthy fats and proteins that made mochi a more complete meal for rural farmers. These regional styles turn the neutral canvas of the white rice cake into a culinary map of Japan's diverse landscape, offering a taste of the forest, the field, and the sea in every bite. Zunda mochi is a famous specialty from the Tohoku region featuring a vibrant green paste made from mashed edamame beans. This treat is particularly associated with the city of Sendai and is traditionally enjoyed during the summer months when the young soybeans are at their peak of freshness. To make zunda, the edamame are boiled, shelled, and then crushed into a coarse, textured paste seasoned with just a hint of salt and sugar. The bright, spring green color of the paste against the pure white mochi is visually striking and incredibly appetizing. It is a refreshing departure from the more common red bean fillings, offering a grassy, sweet, and nutty flavor that captures the sunny essence of the northern Japanese countryside. The natural sweetness and protein-rich profile of edamame makes zunda mochi a healthy and refreshing alternative to traditional red bean sweets. Unlike the dense, sugary profile of azuki bean paste, zunda retains much of the dietary fiber and nutritional value of the whole soybean. The texture is purposefully left slightly chunky, providing a satisfying grainy feel that contrasts beautifully with the smooth, stretchy mochi underneath. Because it uses fresh beans, zunda mochi is a highly seasonal product, and its arrival in shops is a celebrated sign that the warm weather has truly arrived. For many travelers to the Tohoku region, tasting a bowl of fresh zunda mochi is a mandatory ritual that connects them to the fertile soil of the north. Gohei mochi is a grilled rice cake from the mountainous regions of central Japan, typically basted with a sweet miso glaze. Unlike the smooth pounded mochi seen in the cities, Gohei mochi is made from non-glutinous or partially crushed rice that is shaped into thick patties or flat ovals on wooden skewers. These are then slow grilled over an open fire until the surface is charred and aromatic. The glaze is often a secret family or shop recipe, combining dark miso with crushed walnuts, sesame seeds, or even wild perilla seeds. The result is a smoky, savory, and slightly sweet snack that feels more like a hearty meal than a light dessert, embodying the rugged and resourceful spirit of the Japanese mountain villages. This rustic version of mochi often uses partially crushed rice, giving it a toothsome texture that is different from smooth mochi. In Japanese, this halfway state of pounding is sometimes called hangoroshi or half-killed, a humorous term that describes how the individual rice grains are still visible but have become sticky enough to hold together. This texture allows the rice to better absorb the thick, savory miso sauce during the grilling process, creating a deeper flavor profile. The slight crunch of the individual grains adds a rustic charm that many find more satisfying than the refined, silk-like consistency of ceremonial mochi. It is a humble food that celebrates the grain in its most honest form, providing comfort and sustenance to those living far from the urban centers. Tochi mochi is made by incorporating Japanese horse chestnuts into the rice, resulting in a unique brownish color and bitter undertones. This specialty originates from the heavy snow regions of the Japanese Alps and the Sanin coast, where horse chestnuts were historically an important emergency food source when rice harvests failed. The nuts are ground into a powder and mixed with the glutinous rice during the pounding process. The resulting mochi has a deep, earthy aroma and a sophisticated bitterness that is often balanced by a sweet red bean filling inside. Because it requires a tremendous amount of labor to prepare, tochi mochi is now considered a rare artisanal delicacy, cherished by those who appreciate the deep, complex flavors of the Japanese wilderness. The process of removing the bitterness from horse chestnuts is a time-consuming task that requires ancient knowledge and great patience. Raw horse chestnuts contain high levels of tannins and saponins, making them inedible without extensive processing. The nuts must be soaked in running water for several days, boiled with wood ash to neutralize the acids, and then rinsed repeatedly over a period of weeks. This traditional leaching process is a testament to the survival skills of ancient Japanese communities, who learned how to transform a bitter forest nut into a nutritious staple. When you eat a piece of tochi mochi today, you are tasting a piece of history, a reminder of a time when the relationship between humans and the forest was a matter of life and death. During the Edo period, mochi was sometimes dyed with natural ingredients to represent the changing colors of the passing forest seasons. Before the invention of synthetic dyes, Japanese confectioners used the gifts of nature to bring color to their creations. Gardenia pods for a sunny yellow, mugwort for a deep green, and red beans or safflower for a delicate pink. These colors were not chosen at random. They were used to mirror the landscape outside the tea room window, allowing the consumer to eat the season. This practice reinforced the Japanese aesthetic of shun, or peak seasonality, where the timing of a food's appearance is just as important as its taste. A simple colored rice cake served as a poetic reminder of the fleeting beauty of the natural world. Mochi is often associated with the moon in Japanese folklore, where a rabbit is said to be pounding rice cakes forever. This charming image is celebrated every autumn during the Tsukimi, or moon viewing festival. According to the legend, a rabbit was rewarded for its selflessness by being placed on the moon, where it spends its days using a wooden mallet to prepare mochi for the gods. This story is often told to children as they gaze at the full moon, pointing out the dark shadows that form the shape of a rabbit standing over a mortar. Because of this connection, round white mochi dumplings are the essential food for moon viewing parties, serving as a symbolic link between the celestial beauty above and the earthly harvest below. This celestial legend stems from the dark patches on the moon's surface, which resemble the silhouette of a rabbit using a mortar. While Western cultures often see a man in the moon, the Japanese see the Tsuki no Usagi, or the moon rabbit. The legend is so deeply ingrained that the word for full moon is sometimes playfully associated with the word for pounding mochi. During the mid-autumn moon viewing festival, families display small round rice dumplings called tsukimi dango on a tiered stand, often placed by a window where the moonlight can reach them. This visual connection between the white, glowing orb in the night sky and the pure white rice cakes on the table creates a sense of cosmic harmony. bridging the gap between ancient folklore and the simple pleasure of a seasonal snack. Viewing the autumn moon while eating moon-viewing dumplings is a centuries-old tradition that celebrates the beauty of the nighttime sky. This practice, known as tsukimi, reached its peak of elegance during the Heian period, when aristocrats would gather on boats to view the moon's reflection in the water while composing poetry and enjoying mochi. The simplicity of the round, white dumplings is intended to honor the moon's perfect shape and the successful harvest of the year's rice. Unlike other festive mochi, tsukimi dango are usually served without any filling, allowing the natural, clean taste of the rice to be the primary focus. This ritual encourages a moment of stillness and gratitude, reminding us to appreciate the quiet, luminous beauty that appears above us every month. Mochi has a high glycemic index, providing a rapid spike in energy that was essential for laborers and farmers in the past. Because the rice is pounded so thoroughly, the starch becomes extremely accessible to the body's digestive enzymes. This means that the glucose is released into the bloodstream much faster than it would be from a bowl of whole-grain rice. In a pre-industrial society where physical labor was the norm, this instant energy was a practical necessity for completing the demanding tasks of the harvest or surviving the cold winter. While modern nutritionists might advise caution with high GI foods, for the Japanese of the past, mochi was the ultimate power bar, a concentrated source of life force that could sustain a person through the most grueling of days. The physical act of pounding mochi is an intense workout that requires coordination, stamina, and a very steady sense of rhythm. Swinging a heavy wooden kine over one's head and bringing it down with precision into the center of the mortar is an aerobic exercise that engages the entire body, the legs, the core, and the arms. A full session of traditional mochitsuki can last for hours, especially when preparing enough for a large community or temple. This physical toll is part of what makes the finished mochi so valuable. It is a food that has been earned through sweat and collective effort. The exhaustion felt by the pounders at the end of the day is a source of pride, signifying that the traditions of their ancestors have been kept alive through their own physical strength. Safety is an important consideration when eating mochi, as its sticky nature requires it to be cut into small, manageable pieces. Because mochi is incredibly elastic and doesn't dissolve easily in the mouth, it must be chewed thoroughly to ensure it can be swallowed safely. This is particularly important for the elderly and young children, whose swallowing reflexes may be less robust. In a traditional Japanese setting, mochi is rarely served as a large singular block. Instead, it is sliced into bite-sized cubes or thin rounds that can be easily managed. This practical approach to eating reflects the Japanese value of mindfulness, paying close attention to the physical act of eating and respecting the unique properties of the food on one's plate. In Japan, it is common to see public safety announcements during the new year reminding people to chew their mochi very carefully. These annual reminders are a unique cultural phenomenon, appearing on news broadcasts and in newspapers just as the holiday season begins. Doctors often suggest drinking a bit of tea or soup before taking a bite of mochi to lubricate the throat, and emphasize the importance of sitting upright while eating. While it may seem unusual to have national safety warnings about a rice cake, it underscores just how central mochi is to the Japanese identity. Despite the risks, the cultural necessity of eating mochi at the start of the year is so strong that the tradition continues, guided by these common-sense precautions to ensure everyone enjoys the holidays safely. New varieties of rice are constantly being developed specifically for mochi production to improve yield, disease resistance, and overall texture. Agricultural scientists in Japan spend years crossbreeding different strains of mochigome to find the perfect balance of stickiness and stretchiness. Some modern varieties are designed to stay soft for a longer period after cooling, while others are bred to have a more brilliant white color when steamed. These advancements ensure that even as the climate changes, the quality of Japan's most symbolic food remains consistent. This ongoing scientific investment shows that mochi is not a relic of the past, but a living part of Japan's future, supported by cutting-edge agricultural research and a deep respect for the land. Space-age food technology has even explored the possibility of producing mochi for astronauts because of its high density and shelf life. Because mochi is a concentrated source of carbohydrates and can be vacuum sealed into small, lightweight packages, it is an ideal candidate for long-term storage in extreme environments. In zero gravity, crumbly foods can be a hazard to delicate equipment, but the cohesive, sticky nature of mochi keeps it neatly in one piece. While traditional mochitsuki hasn't quite made it to the International Space Station yet, the idea of a space mochi is a testament to the food's incredible efficiency. It suggests that the same grain that sustained samurai on the battlefields of the 16th century could one day sustain explorers on the frontier of the stars. Mochi skin is now used in various culinary applications, such as wrapping for pizzas or as a thickening agent for soups. In modern fusion cooking, thin sheets of mochi, often called mochi sheet, are layered over pizza crusts before baking. When the pizza comes out of the oven, the mochi has melted into a chewy, cheese-like layer that provides a surprising and delightful texture. Similarly, because mochi is made of pure starch, it can be dissolved into broths to add body and richness without the need for heavy cream or flour. These innovative uses show how modern chefs are reimagining the traditional rice cake, taking it out of the tea room and into the global kitchen to solve modern culinary challenges with an ancient ingredient. The industrial production of mochi uses vacuum sealing technology to keep the cakes fresh and soft for several months without preservatives. In the past, mochi had to be eaten within days or dried to prevent mold, but modern packaging has changed everything. By removing oxygen from the individual packets and using specialized barrier films, manufacturers can prevent the starch from retrograding too quickly. This allows people to keep a stash of kiri mochi, square-cut mochi, in their pantry all year round, ready to be toasted whenever the craving strikes. This marriage of ancient grain and high-tech packaging has ensured that mochi remains a convenient and staple part of the modern Japanese lifestyle, bridging the gap between traditional seasonal festivals and everyday convenience. Traditional mochi making is recognized as an important intangible cultural property that reflects the agricultural history of the Japanese people. This designation by the government ensures that the specific techniques, tools, and communal rituals associated with mochitsuki are documented and preserved for future generations. It is not just about the recipe, but about the living history of the rice-growing culture that has defined Japan for millennia. By labeling it a cultural property, the nation acknowledges that the rhythmic pounding of rice is as much a part of the Japanese identity as calligraphy, tea ceremonies, or kabuki theater. This protection helps support local guilds and neighborhood associations that continue to hold public events, ensuring the heartbeat of the mortar remains a constant in a rapidly changing world. Visiting a local shrine during the new year often provides an opportunity to receive a piece of blessed sacrificial mochi. After the large kagami mochi have been displayed on the altar for several days as an offering to the deities, they are ceremonially broken and shared with the parishioners. This act is known as kagami baraki, or opening the mirror. To eat this mochi is to partake in the divine protection and vitality that was offered to the gods. Because the mochi has often become quite hard by this time, it is usually served in a warm, sweet bean soup or grilled until it softens. Receiving this mochi is a deeply spiritual experience for many, symbolizing the closing of the holiday season and the beginning of a year filled with grace and health. The act of sharing mochi with others is believed to strengthen social bonds and bring good luck for the upcoming year ahead. In the past, when a family or a village made mochi, it was never a solitary endeavor. The abundance was always distributed among neighbors, relatives, and even those who could not participate in the labor. This spirit of asuso wake, or sharing one's good fortune, is a cornerstone of Japanese social ethics. By giving a gift of fresh, stretchy rice cakes, you are literally offering a piece of longevity and harmony to someone else. This exchange creates a web of mutual support and gratitude that transcends the simple value of the food itself, making mochi a powerful medium for building and maintaining human connections. Shabu-shabu restaurants often serve paper-thin slices of mochi that soften in the boiling broth in just a matter of seconds. These delicate slices are called shabu mochi and are designed to be picked up with chopsticks and swished through the hot dashi along with thin ribbons of beef and vegetables. The heat of the soup transforms the brittle, translucent sheet into a silk-like, gooey ribbon almost instantly. This rapid change in state is a source of delight for diners, providing a playful and interactive element to the meal. The mochi acts as a neutral sponge, capturing the rich flavors of the broth and the meat, adding a unique chew that complements the tenderness of the other ingredients in the pot. This instant mochi provides a delightful surprise in the middle of a savory meal, adding a chewy and satisfying mouthfeel. For many diners, the discovery of a hidden piece of mochi in a hot pot or a bowl of noodles is like finding a small treasure. Its presence changes the rhythm of the meal, requiring a bit more focus and a different style of chewing compared to the surrounding vegetables or meat. This textural variety is highly prized in Japanese cuisine, which often seeks to engage all the senses simultaneously. Whether it's the stretch of a shabu mochi or the gooey center of a piece hidden in an omelet, mochi provides a sense of fullness and satisfaction that few other ingredients can replicate with such simplicity. Modern cafes in Japan serve mochi waffles, often called moffles, which are crispy on the outside and wonderfully chewy on the inside. This ingenious creation is made by placing a piece of hard, square kiramochi into a standard waffle iron. As the iron closes and the heat penetrates the rice, the mochi expands into the grid pattern, developing a thin, crunchy crust while maintaining its signature elastic core. Moffles can be served with sweet toppings like chocolate sauce and whipped cream, or savory options like ham and melted cheese. This modern adaptation has become a favorite among the younger generation, proving that even a traditional staple can find a trendy and delicious place in the contemporary cafe culture of Tokyo and beyond. The versatility of mochi in both sweet and savory dishes makes it a unique ingredient that transcends standard culinary boundaries. It is rare to find a food that can serve as the foundation of a sacred religious offering, a festive New Year's soup, a delicate tea-time sweet, and a crispy street snack all at once. Because mochi itself has a very subtle, clean flavor of steamed rice, it acts as a perfect flavor carrier for whatever it is paired with. This neutrality allows it to harmonize with the deep saltiness of soy sauce just as easily as the floral sweetness of cherry blossoms. This adaptability is perhaps the secret to mochi's 1,000-year survival. It is a culinary chameleon that can fit into any meal, any season, and any social occasion. Understanding the science of starch molecules helps chefs create new mochi-based textures that were never possible in the ancient past. Food scientists have discovered that by manipulating the temperature and the rate of cooling, they can control the degree of chewiness and stickiness in the mochi dough. Some modern pastry chefs use these techniques to create mochi creams, a hybrid of whipped cream and rice starch that is light as air but retains a subtle, springy resistance. By blending different types of rice flour with modern stabilizers, they can produce mochi that stays soft even in a refrigerator. expanding the possibilities for convenience store desserts and international exports. This scientific approach ensures that the mochi texture remains a cornerstone of innovation in the global food industry. Despite modern innovations, the core ingredients of mochi remain remarkably simple, consisting only of rice, water, and human effort. In an era of highly processed foods and complex ingredient lists, mochi stands as a testament to the power of simplicity. There are no artificial preservatives, no hidden fats, and no complicated additives required to create its iconic stretch. The magic of mochi comes entirely from the physical transformation of the rice grain through heat and mechanical force. This purity is a point of pride for traditional makers, who believe that the fewer the ingredients, the more the quality of the raw material and the skill of the craftsman must shine. It is a humble reminder that some of the world's most profound culinary experiences come from the most basic elements of the earth. Learning about mochi offers a window into the Japanese soul, where nature, religion, and community are all woven together tightly. To understand mochi is to understand the deep reverence for the rice harvest, the importance of seasonal transitions, and the value placed on shared labor. Every step of the mochi making process, from the soaking of the grain to the final communal meal, reflects a worldview that finds sacredness in the everyday and beauty in the bonds of family and neighborhood. It is a food that carries the weight of history and the lightness of a festival. As we contemplate the pillowy softness of a freshly pounded rice cake, we are catching a glimpse of a culture that has, for centuries, used a simple grain to express its highest aspirations for harmony, health, and a long, happy life. The white color of pure mochi symbolizes purity and sacredness, mirroring the appearance of fresh snow or a polished pearl. In Shinto tradition, white is the color of the divine, representing a space or object that has been cleansed of worldly impurities. This is why mochi is the chosen medium for offerings to the gods. Its pristine surface reflects the sincerity of the person offering it. When a family prepares a stack of white rice cakes for their home altar, they are not just preparing food, but creating a visual anchor for peace and spiritual clarity. The unblemished brightness of the steamed rice serves as a quiet reminder of the beauty found in a clean heart and a fresh start at the beginning of each new year. Children in Japan often participate in mochitsuki at school, ensuring that this cultural heritage is passed down to the next generation. These events are filled with excitement, as students take turns holding the heavy wooden mallets, often much larger than themselves. Under the watchful eyes of teachers and local volunteers, they learn the importance of rhythm and the joy of creating something together from scratch. This hands-on experience transforms a history lesson into a physical memory, teaching them that food does not just come from a store, but from the earth and the collective effort of the community. By the time they eat the mochi they helped pound, they have gained a lifelong appreciation for the labor and the love that goes into Japan's most iconic traditions. Small bits of mochi are often included in traditional lucky bags during festivals to symbolize a wish for prosperity and wealth. These tiny, dried rice cakes, sometimes dyed in auspicious colors like red and white, act as charms that represent filling up one's life with good fortune. In some regions, during the Tashigami or Year God festivals, mochi is thrown into a crowd from a raised platform, and catching a piece is considered a sign of immense luck for the coming months. This playful side of mochi culture shows that it is not just a solemn ritual food, but also a source of public joy and a tangible way for people to share in the hope for a brighter, more abundant future. The transformation of hard grains of rice into a soft, cohesive mass is seen as a metaphor for personal growth. Just as the rice must endure the heat of the steam and the repeated strikes of the mallet to reach its most refined and flexible state, humans too are shaped by the challenges and pressures of life. This philosophical view of mochi encourages patience and resilience, It suggests that the pounding we experience in the world is what eventually makes us smooth, resilient, and capable of stretching without breaking. When you chew a piece of mochi, you are consuming a symbol of that inner strength, a reminder that through persistence and transformation, we can become something far more beautiful and unified than we were at the beginning. Mochi making workshops are becoming popular for international tourists who want to experience the physical and social aspects of Japanese culture. Beyond just tasting the sweets in a cafe, visitors are increasingly seeking the active experience of the yuzu and kine. These workshops provide a bridge for cross-cultural understanding, as participants realize that the language of rhythm and shared labor is universal. Seeing the steam rise and feeling the weight of the mallet allows people from all over the world to connect with the agricultural heartbeat of Japan. It turns a simple trip into a meaningful journey, where the memory of the thump hiss of the mallet becomes a souvenir of a deeper connection to a foreign land spirit. The global popularity of Japanese animation has introduced the concept of mochi to millions of young people all around the world. Whether it's characters enjoying colorful dango on a screen or a magical rabbit pounding rice on the moon, these visual stories have turned mochi into a global symbol of Japanese cuteness and comfort. Fans are often inspired to seek out authentic mochi in their own cities, leading to a boom in international Japanese confectionery shops. This digital-to-physical pipeline has breathed new life into the tradition, proving that ancient rituals can find a vibrant, modern audience through the power of storytelling. Mochi is no longer just a Japanese secret, it is a global language of sweetness and playfulness. Scientific research continues to investigate the potential health benefits of the specific fermentation processes used in certain types of mochi. While most mochi is fresh, some regional varieties use natural microbes from the air or the straw they are dried in to develop unique enzymes. These matured rice cakes are being studied for their impact on gut health and their ability to provide long-chain carbohydrates that are even easier for the body to process. As the world moves toward a greater focus on functional foods, mochi's role as a natural, additive-free source of energy is gaining new respect from the medical community. It is a fascinating example of how ancient grandma's wisdom is being validated by modern laboratory analysis. As the world moves toward more plant-based diets, mochi stands out as a time-tested, natural, and highly versatile vegan food. For centuries, mochi has provided a rich, satisfying texture and high energy content without the need for animal products. Its ability to mimic the chew of dairy or meat products in certain dishes makes it a valuable tool for modern plant-based chefs. Whether used as a thickener in a vegan cream sauce or as the centerpiece of a decadent dessert, mochi offers a solution that is both sustainable and deeply rooted in tradition. It reminds us that the answers to some of our modern environmental and dietary challenges have been sitting in a wooden mortar in the Japanese countryside for over 1,000 years. Every piece of mochi carries the weight of thousands of years of history and the hopes of the people who made it. From the first seeds planted in the spring mud to the final rhythmic strike of the mallet in the winter chill, mochi is a labor of love and a testament to the endurance of the human spirit. It is a food that has survived wars, famines, and the rapid modernization of the world, never losing its place at the center of the Japanese home. When you hold a piece of mochi in your hands, you are holding the culmination of countless harvests and the quiet, steady breath of a culture that values harmony above all else. It is a small, soft bridge between the past, the present, and the future. Taking a moment to appreciate a simple rice cake connects us to the earth and the timeless cycles of the seasons. In our fast-paced, digital lives, the slow, chewy pace of eating mochi encourages us to slow down and be present. It asks us to notice the subtle sweetness of the rice, the warmth of the steam, and the connection we have to the farmers who tended the fields. Mochi is a reminder that we are all part of a larger, rhythmic cycle. A cycle of growth, harvest, and rest. As you drift toward sleep, let the image of the soft, pillowy rice cake bring you a sense of peace. You are supported, you are resilient, and like the mochi itself, you are part of a long and beautiful story. Sweet dreams.